Rush Limbaugh, in continuing trying to keep the discussion about Candy Crowley instead of how Mitt Romney self-destructed in the second presidential debate, is now continuing to focus on Candy Crowley by saying Candy Crowley committed an act of journalistic terror. Now, I've been thinking about this overnight. Republicans, I'll play the clip for you in a second. Republicans seem to be angry that Candy Crowley would impose herself into the debate. What Republicans seem to be forgetting is that Mitt Romney looked to Candy Crowley to try to, as he said, get on the record what President Obama had said, and Candy Crowley, at Mitt Romney's request certainly, participated in that. So the idea that Candy Crowley imposed her view on the debate, she imposed it only in the sense that Mitt Romney made it clear he wanted her involved. That's number one. If it didn't go well for you, talk to Mitt Romney. He's the one who got her involved. Let's take a listen to what Rush Limbaugh is saying now about Candy Crowley.
And then Candy Crowley had to go back and eat crow on CNN. In a real world, she would have committed career suicide last night. In the real world, in the media world I grew up in, her career would be finished. Won't be now, because she gave it her all for the good guys. She gave it all for the right side. But she committed an act of journalistic terror or malpractice last night. If there were any journalistic standards, what she did last night would have been the equivalent of blowing up her career like a suicide bomber. But there aren't any journalistic standards anymore.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Lewis. If you're moderating a debate and a candidate looks to you insistently, wanting you to chime in about getting a fact on the record, and you do that, you've just committed the exact same thing as a suicide bomber. What a great analogy.
Journalistic terror. I mean, what does that even mean?
I don't know. Well, she was like a suicide bomber. She answered a question directed at her. Hold on. She answered a question directed to her in violation of the debate rules which the candidates agreed to, and she essentially was a suicide bomber.
No, but hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's something else that's going on here, which to me makes absolutely no sense. If you go back and you actually listen to what Candy Crowley said, she said very clearly, actually, Mr. Romney, Obama did say the day after the Benghazi attacks in the Rose Garden that it was an act of terror. But you're right in your suggestion that in the 2 weeks after, there was some, I don't know what word she used, some sort of mixed messaging from the administration.
Right, that
is true. She actually got it right.
She did get it right. Now, maybe the argument is because everybody in the room was breaking the debate rules by clapping, we didn't hear that second part.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but Republicans could not be more. They're showing their cards here, showing their hand here, by so clearly trying to distract from Mitt Romney's disastrous, embarrassing performance, where he indicated he doesn't care about women, he doesn't care about women's rights, he doesn't care about women's pay, he has no idea what President Obama has and hasn't done, and he simply didn't even know what Obama had said on that day in the Rose Garden. To take all the attention off of that, the focus is Candy Crowley imposed herself on the debate, and was like a suicide bomber.
I would say that in reality, most of what Rush does on his show, I mean, during every show, there's many moments of what I would actually call journalistic terror. Terrorism by definition.
Right.
Fear-mongering, and things of that sort.
No question.
Ridiculous.